we are being joined by our third guest of the evening. He is Bellator MMA lightweight title challenger, Mr. Brent Primus. Brett, how we doing tonight, man?
Good, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it was a pleasure. We had one of your hometown boys on earlier, Ben Egley. He wanted to send some love, some good luck, and bring some gold for the Oregon boys.
Hell yeah, man. Ben's an awesome dude, a good fighter. He's a good training partner too.
So obviously, you've been in the room and worked with him at some point in time as well.
Oh, a bunch, yeah, a bunch.
Awesome. So what do you think? He's got a fight coming up here in a few weeks as well, and obviously you got a big fight, but he's the king of the cage, welterweight champion. How long do you think it is before Ben starts to get out of the regional scene and start hitting some of these bigger promotions?
Man, I think any time after this fight, he's already defended his title, a couple times. He's not only a really good, not only a champ, but he's a champ outside of the cage too, man. He's a good person, a good heart. He's really technical, and man, I can't say anything more about the guy. He's such a good guy, and it's just a matter of time before he blows up and gets out there in one of the big shows.
I'm in total agreement with you there. But now you got arguably you couldn't have asked for a bigger stage to get this opportunity, man. You're fighting probably one of the best lightweights that the Bellator has ever seen outside of Eddie Alvarez, and he's faced adversity. He's fought tough guys. He's not Michael Chandler isn't invincible, but he's definitely a tough customer, and I'm sure given the stage, the opportunity, the title fight, could you have asked for a better opportunity than what got put on your table there?
No, not at all. This is a dream come true, and like you said, I think that Chandler is one of the best 155ers out there, not just in Bellator, but I think he's one of the best lightweights out there, and this is going to be an awesome test, an awesome challenge for me. I've been training really hard. I'm ready for this, and not only that, I'm fighting at Madison Square Garden in New York City with legends that I've looked up to since I started training, and man, this is just literally a dream come true, and I can't wait to go out there and put a show on. It's going to be one hell of a night.
Hey, Brent. I don't disagree now. Go ahead, Brent.
Hey, Brent, Steve talks about a tough hombre. You're a tough hombre yourself, undefeated at this point. So, I mean, you faced adversity. You had a couple of split decisions go down to the wire and everything. What does it mean for you? You talk about fighting on this card, but, hey, this is a pay-per-view card, baby. So this is going to be big time. How does that feel for you, too? And do you get any kickback from that pay-per-view, or how does that work for the sales and everything? Do you make any money off that?
Yeah, like I said, man, this is a dream come true. I'm fighting, like I said, Madison Square Garden, New York City, with Vanderlei Silva and Fedor and a bunch of guys. I really couldn't ask for a bigger show. Madison Square Garden, that's like the arenas of all arenas. So I'm really.
How did contract talks? How did it all come about?
Man, I had a bunch. It's been a while since I fought, and it's not just I've been just sitting around waiting or whatever. I've been training for people. I trained for Adam Piccolotti. Went through a full fight camp. He got injured. They set me up with another top 10 guy. He got injured, and it's kind of I was pretty bummed out, and really man, it really sucked. But it all happened for a reason, and then I got a call, and I was expecting them to give me another top 10 guy like they promised, and then they said Michael Chandler at New York City, and I was like, man, just blown away. And it really took a couple days for that to sink in. I had to pinch myself every morning, and and it really sunk in when they flew me out there for the press conferences, and me and Chandler squared off and just hanging out with all the guys, and like I said, this is literally a dream come true. I've been training my butt off for years and years, and it's all going to come down to June 24th. I'm going to go out there and literally fight my life. I'm going to go out there and, I'm going to put it on this guy. And, I like you said, Chandler is an awesome opponent for me. He's a champ, and, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to shock the world, shock everybody. And I know that everybody expects me to lose. There's a lot of talk about that or whatever, but, I like being the underdog. and I'm thriving off of this, So, man, I just can't wait. I'm ready right now, and I'm like, a little under 5 weeks out. So, I'm ready for this. It's going to be awesome.
Now, I was scrolling through Chandler's timeline, and someone, I think he was tweeting about hockey, and someone asked him, how would you fare fighting, given if you were a hockey player? Everything's definitely different. It's not something that's an odd thing to say, considering, fighting's one of the few, fighting's the only thing allowed that you're penalized, but you're not suspended for, as far as the other sports go. So
yeah, for sure.
Say you're a hockey player, and it was part. It's part of it. Do you think you would be still standing undefeated as a hockey goon, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how I do on the ice too much with like ice skates or whatever, but if I was definitely a hockey player, I'd be out there brawling. I've been fighting ever since a little kid. I grew up with me and my brother used to beat the crap out of each other every single day, and it got to a point where my stepdad was like, okay, I'm going to buy you guys boxing gloves, and anytime you guys argue about anything, you go out in the front yard, you guys are boxing, and no matter who ate the last bowl of cereal, me and my brother went out there and we were scrapping, and I'm a fighter, and so if I was a hockey player, I'd definitely be out there scrapping, and I watched that movie The Goon or whatever. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yes.
But it's an awesome movie, man. It's an awesome movie.
So,
for sure.
What is that? Someone who you envision yourself like under the Sean William Scott character, or if you have to put, like, say you put a name to who you would be on the ice, who would it be?
Oh yeah, man, the Goon for sure. I can't remember his name, but that guy was the man. It kind of reminds me of like. I got kicked out of my house when I was younger, and, I grew up really fast, and I had my own house when I was like 14, 15 years old, and, I got in a lot of street fights. It was getting to a point where I was getting in, 2 street fights every weekend. I live in Eugene, Oregon. It's a college campus, so there's house parties, and I was getting in fights all the time, and the crazy thing is, like, I never threw the first punch. It was just, people were just like, oh, there's Brent. He's a fighter, and people would challenge me, and it got to a point where I go to the bars. Huh?
They'd probably be wasted. Oh, that guy's a fighter. Let me go take him on.
Yeah, this was actually before I started. This was before I started training and stuff. And like I remember I was going out to the bars, and this was like right when I started training. When I went out to the bars, and I had, there's 2 big clubs in Eugene, and the bouncers would come up to me like, Brent, this guy is giving us a problem, man. Go outside, just take care of him, and we'll buy you drinks all night long. And I'd go outside and be like, man, you got to get out of here. And then they'd push me, and boom, it'd go on, and I'd beat them up, and I'd come inside, and they'd make me drinks all night long for that. And that happened all the time, every weekend. And it's crazy. You'd think that if you have a reputation for fighting and being tough, that people wouldn't want to fight you. But man, it is the opposite. I had people wanting to fight me all the time, and that's where it all started really for me. Is getting in all those dang fights, and it was a crazy time, but here I am right now fighting for the belt.
Yeah, going from street fights to fighting for a belt, that's a big leap. I like it.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
That's a definite big leap.
For sure.
Did you have, like, when you went out and did when they pulled you outside and to fight outside, did you have to fight around all the cars and stuff like they did in pro wrestling? You smashed their heads into the windshield and shit?
I don't think I ever smashed them in the windshield, but I definitely was, fighting on the curbs and doing some crazy stuff, man. Like, I remember the first fist fight I got into, I was pretty young, and I was at this house party, and we were downstairs, and I was arm wrestling people for money. And this guy came up to me, and he stood above me and he grabbed my arm and just slammed it on the table. He's like, I win. And I was like, what? Sit down, and we'll arm wrestle for real. And the girls came over, and they kicked us out. And so we're like, okay, we're walking out of the house. And I looked behind me, and the whole party was behind us. And I was like, oh, here we go. We're going to get in a fight. And I remember one of my buddies at the time, he was known for fighting, and he's actually a black belt now. But anyways, there's a big crowd, like about 10 guys in front of him. And my buddy jumped out in front of them, and he was getting ready to fight. And I was like, oh, man, my buddy's going to get beat up. So I jumped out there with him. And I looked back, and my buddy ran away. And so it's just me and 10 of these guys. And 3 of these guys jumped me. And I remember this is my first fight ever. I've never really hit anybody and these 3 guys jumped at me, and I threw a combination as I was walking back, and 5 seconds later, all 3 of these guys were on the ground, knocked out.
Yes.
I just remember looking at my hands like, oh my God, that is crazy. I just couldn't believe, that I could punch somebody that could just get knocked out like that so fast, and like for years there was blood on this Taco Bell wall. When I hit one of the guys, he flew against the wall, and there's blood on the wall for years. And so we'd ever drive by like, oh, that's where Brent smashed those dudes at, like that was the first time I ever got into a street fight, and it really was a kind of awakening for me, like, oh my God, like I can knock people out with my hands, it was crazy, and it was a crazy time for me. And I'm not saying it was the best thing or whatever, but it's definitely like I learned a lot back then for sure.
What is up? I mean, it's funny that we're talking about this now, considering what's happened over the last 72 hours. You had in your own promotion there in the welterweight division, Mr. Paul Daly, gets his rear end kicked in by McDonald, then goes in the crowd and starts a scuffle with Michael Venom Page, and like literally just hours before the show tonight, you have Chris Cyborg and Angelo Magana, having words and fists being thrown. So it's
free fights, not making any money off of those.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You won't see me doing that though. I don't know, something about like jiu-jitsu, and when I first started training, I remember I was getting in a lot of fights, and my buddy's like, man, if you're going to be fighting, I'm going to sign you up for a cage fight, man. You might as well make some money and do something with it. And I was like, all right, yeah, sign me up, man. I want to go beat these guys up. And I remember I was like 2 weeks out from my fight, and I was like, man, I'm going to walk into the gym and just at least see what this is all about, And I walked in this jiu-jitsu gym expecting to just put a whoop down on everybody. And I walked in there, and, man, I got my butt handed to me so fast. People were choking me out and beating me up, and I was like, oh, my God, man. I fell in love with it.
Pretty
I
quick.
I realized that there's actually technique behind it, And so and something about, just bowing to your instructor and to all your training partners and bowing to your opponents, man, it totally changed my life and humbled me, and it taught me respect. And so you will not catch me doing that, these days. I've backed out of so many fights, and not only just because of that, but I just know what I'm capable of doing. And but you ain't gonna see me stepping out of the cage, especially when I lose and jumping somebody. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're not gonna be on TMZ or anything, right?
No, not at all, man. Not for that. Not at all.
No, see, he's got smart to the point and be like, you want to fight me? Go get in my weight class, and let's sign a fight contract, and then let's do it where it's really worth it.
Exactly.
And don't call me out after you just got beat down. Yeah.
I think it's funny because now people are like, oh, well, that's the fight everyone wants to see now. I'm like, well, why? I'm like, the guy just got waxed by Rory McDonald. And you were saying that he deserves to go in there against an undefeated fighter like Michael Venom Page. I'm sorry, but I might be a little bit biased because I got love for Derek Anderson. We just had him on the show recently leading up to the potential fight he was supposed to have. There was an injury happen. Anderson has gone up and down in weight to kind of make fights happen, make fun fights for the promotion. So, in my opinion, unless something's wrong with Derek, that should be the immediately next fight happens after we know what exactly is going on with Page's knee. If they sign Page versus Daly without Anderson either being booked in the fight or being injured, I'm going to call fail.
100%.
That's just my personal opinion.
I think so too. I think that people just want to see, there's like tension between those guys, and there's so I don't know. I totally agree with you. Anderson should definitely get that shot.
I would say there would be a way around it, is if they were doing another card in the UK and that they needed that type of matchup to kind of happen. I would understand it, but I still wouldn't be happy with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I get at the end of the day, this is a promotion. They're trying to make money. They're trying to sell tickets. You want to have, if you're doing an event in London and that's where everything's kind of heading towards, then I would understand it, but it is what it is. What are you going to do?
Yeah, people like to see grudge matches. People like to see people, that hate each other go in there and fight because they think there's just that hate's going to bring more of a brutal fight, I guess. I'm not really sure, but I totally agree with you.
I think that's probably why a lot of people wanted to see Rousey versus Cyborg, even though most fans who actually actually watch aspects of the sport thought it would have been a bad matchup. My only thing was if Chris went too hard going forward at Ronda, that Ronda probably would have been able to nail one of those tosses and get it down. The question is, she's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and how long would it stay there? Because we've seen Chris be stuck on bottom and full mount and find a way to get right back to her feet. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, she's a beast, man. She's a beast.
Yeah, she is, and I really hope that the UFC over these next few weeks go out there and start signing some legitimate featherweights and build that division up, because if not, then they literally wasted this woman's career for the last 3 years if they didn't have any intention
exactly.
of her.
I agree, man. I agree. Chris, she's
going
to wipe the floor with everything.
And people want to say, oh, well, there's no featherweights out there that are unsigned. I see a lot of them. You just have to actually go and look. Like there's woman we've had on here, Brittany Elkin. She's a great prospect. I don't know if she's quite ready for somebody like Chris Cyborg, but she's a fighter here in the States that you can go and bring in and kind of develop. Everyone wants to already see the Megan Anderson fight, even though I kind of see Chris having her way with that fight, especially in the grappling aspects of it, because Megan's still kind of raw in that area. But just build this division up. You said you were going to you're going to build this division and move forward with or without Chris Cyborg. Then show us. This division's been here for 6 months and nothing's happened. But don't want to dwell on that too long, because I'm going to go off on a tangent on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So, but getting back to the event, Bellator 180, Madison Square Garden, New York. What outside of your fight? What is the one that the one fight that you're going to be peeking over at the screen, or hopefully in the crowd on your feet cheering for it? What fight are you most looking forward to?
Man, I ever since I first started MMA, I used to watch the Prides and Order Pride all the time, and Fedor Emelianenko was, man, he's just something else. He was the man, so I love watching Fedor fight no matter what. And I know some people are saying he's getting old and it's not his time anymore, but man, I love watching Fedor throw down. He'll throw down with anybody, and so I think that Matt Mitrone and Fedor fight is going to be it's going to be a good fight, but also at the same time that Lawrence Larkin and Douglas Lima fight, that's going to be fireworks, so I definitely really want to see those two fights.
I love that matchup, because both of those guys, they like to bite down on their mouthpiece and start throwing sledgehammers, and oh man, that could end in just some beautiful.
Somebody's getting
beautiful
knocked
violence.
out, man. That is not going to the decision,
Oh yeah, and
I think a lot of these fights.
I think he's one of the fighters that the UFC is going to regret letting go. Yes, everyone's high on McDonald, but people tend to forget that Larkin was a middleweight in Strikeforce, and if I remember correctly, holds a win over the former welterweight champion Robbie Lawler. So
yeah, definitely.
This guy isn't no slouch or some guy who was kind of trying to oversell himself to get a bigger contract from the UFC. I think anyone who's going to underestimate and think Lima's gonna have his way in this fight is going to be sorely mistaken. And I'm with you. I cannot wait for this fight. It's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody's
going to sleep.
Larkin comes out like he did against Neil Magny, which that one was like, damn, he has got it. He's kicking ass, got it going on. That was a great fight for him. If he can replicate that and just go at it, it's going to be a hell of a fight. Now, Douglas Lima's from my old hometown, and I used to go up to his school a lot and watch those guys train. But those guys are phenomenal over there in Atlanta too. And they got a lot of good. They got a lot of monsters.
Also remember about that Larkin fight is that after that fight, Neil Magny has been on kind of the injured list, for 5 months since that fight.
Yeah.
So put that into your context as well when referring to that matchup.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be a good fight, man. Like I said, somebody's going to get knocked out, and that's going to be fireworks, man. It's going to be just every second
and
that fight is going to be something to watch.
You lightly mentioned Vanderlei and Chael. How do you see that playing out? Because I think that's probably the biggest grudge match that we have out there right now. I mean, obviously,
UFC
is the biggest one in the UFC, but I'm talking when we're talking Bellator. I mean, those two dudes have legit disdain, dislike for one another, and Chael didn't look so great in the Ortiz fight, but let's be fair. Vanderlei Silva is not Tito Ortiz by any stretch of the imagination. Doesn't have the
wrestling the ground.
The wrestling, and not just that. I just think the overall strength that Tito has. People tend to forget that Tito, in between fights, would walk around as upwards of 240 pounds. Wrap your head around that, and then
he's
like
a big, strong
I remember
dude,
talking to people about that matchup, and they're like, "Oh, Chael's going to do." I'm like, "You guys are out of your mind if you think if that fight goes to the ground, Chael's done. He's done."
Yeah.
His only way to do it is what he did to Michael Bisping. If he's able to pick him apart on the feet, that's where Tito always had problems with the guys who could keep it standing and land punches.
Yeah, exactly. So I train with Chael Sonnen up at Gracie Baja. I train with him a lot. When I'm up there, we get a lot of grappling rounds in and everything. And I think Chael's going to be smart, and he doesn't want to stand and bang with Vanderlei. And if he does, it's not going. I don't think it's going to be too good for him. So I really think that he's going to take Vanderlei down. Hopefully, because I don't think he's going to want to stand with Vanderlei. So. I think Vanderlei doesn't have a chin like he used to and everything like that, but still, man, he's a dangerous dude, and you don't want to stand in front of that guy dancing around.
Let's remember when they did have the altercation on the Tough Show, Chael got that takedown really quick.
Yep. Man, Chael's an awesome wrestler, man. I've been sparring with him a little bit and training with him, and his wrestling's on point, and I really think that he can take Vanderlei down. He's got to time it right and use his distance control. And if he times it and takes him down, I think that Vanderlei's going to have a hard time getting up just because how good of a wrestler Chael is. But, like I said, Chael does not want to stand in front of Vanderlei dancing around too much.
I don't think he will. For as much as people like to knock Chael, he probably has one of the better fight IQs, regardless if he uses it when he's in the cage and forgets about it or not. When you hear him talk about the sport, he isn't some idiot. He knows what he's talking about.
No, he's a smart guy, man. He's not only smart, like you said, like fight IQ, but just in general, man. He's a smart guy. How he uses his mouth, how he talks, it's got him awesome fights, big fights, and Chael's a smart dude, and it's crazy,
Brent,
man. I trained that guy. He's
I want
one
to
of the
ask
coolest
you,
dudes ever, dude.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your thoughts.
No, I was gonna say, I train Chael, and he's one of the coolest, most humble, nicest dudes ever. It's crazy. I watch him as soon as the camera hits him, dude. He just a genius comes out of that guy, man. It's crazy. I don't know how he comes up with all that stuff and comes up with it so fast, but he's brilliant at what he does. So yeah, he's fun to watch and fun just to listen to. He's a funny dude.
No, hey, I didn't mean to cut you off, so I apologize, Brent. But I was going to ask you, with the records and the talkers, you got unblemished record. But do you feel like people that should be ranked off their record, or should get fights because of their record, or should fighters get fights just because they can talk a big game and pull in that fight, whether their record sucks or not? What's your thoughts on that?
I think they should. I think the records should count. If you're, out there getting smashed every fight, I don't think that's good. But I think that's more money and publicity. If you're good at talking crap and, like Chael, he's lost his last, fight or whatever. And
what happened?
It's got him a lot of. It's got him the main event in Madison Square Garden, yeah, I definitely think it should go down to become, who you fought and what your record is, I feel. But a lot of times, it's about money.
Yeah, look at Mickey Gall. Like, what a what a tactical move he made when he wanted to fight CM Punk, and then went on to fight Sage Northcutt. I mean, you know, he didn't have a pot to piss in the UFC until that all came about, and now he's riding that wave. But like you said, I think we're straying away from the best fighting the best. And that to me is a problem. I mean, yeah, you can make a lot of money, but if it's going to be, I mean, we don't know what we're going to get with this boxing match with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, if it ever happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
I don't know. I mean,
so
has Conor ever fought in a boxing match at all? I mean, has Conor ever competed in boxing and won?
I mean, that's another.
I'm not sure, but I'm
example,
pretty
you know?
sure his
I don't think he
striking
did.
base does have boxing in it, though.
Yeah, he's a smart businessman, and his mouth has gotten him lots and lots of money, you know, and he should be defending these belts. He should be defending these belts, but he might be getting $10-20 million his next fight because of his mouth, you know, and so he's definitely a smart man, and you know, you can't hate on. I mean, you can hate on him, but man, the guy's gonna get $10-20 million, you know. So, but like I said, I don't think
he's the player.
I mean, the only thing I'm with you. Like, he should be defending the belts. I don't like that fact of it. But I mean, if they're allowing him to do this, you know, the belt should be vacated. He hasn't defended a single MMA title he has ever won. Not his ones before he got to the UFC, and not these ones either. Granted, he came to the UFC, which is why he didn't defend those other ones. But now he's going to take other opportunities and hasn't defended one of his UFC ones. So it's kind of, you know, we're in this weird conundrum. Yes, he probably deserves some of these opportunities, but these are some of the things you do as you're leaving one thing behind to start something else. But
yeah, man, they say you're not a champ until you defend your belt, you know. But yeah, he should definitely defend one of those belts for dang sure. Man, I feel sorry for all the other guys that
they already
that have been working so hard, you know, that want that belt. Yeah, for sure, they did.
He dangles that carrot, but I think to him, what's more important than having a belt around his waist is that $1 billion he's got going on there with that's his belt. He's all about having the money and being the highest paid fighter ever. These other accolades where he has trained hard, he did the right things, got the job done. You know, he's been a champion in 2 different weight classes. But yeah, it's like you know, you're a lightweight. How would you feel if the freaking belt was held up and just dangling there like a carrot and say, nope, you can't get it right now. I got to fight a boxer.
Yeah, I'd be pissed. Oh my God, I'd be pissed. Especially if you're the number one guy and you're putting a whoop down on guys and you deserve that title shot and you just have to sit and wait for, you know, this guy to talk trash and shit. Man, I'd be pissed off, you know, for sure. And you know,
all these interim titles are getting so confusing. I can't keep track of all these interim belts that we got going on. You know, this person's a champion. Jose Aldo's a champion, but he's really not the champion. But he is the champion. He's facing off against the interim champion, Max Holloway. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I mean, jeez.
Yeah, I think the interim
Conor
belt
just screwed it all.
The interim belt's just a little cushion, just make them feel a little bit better. You know, it's like, here, hold on to this little fake belt. You know, while we, you know,
it should be made out of chocolate.
You know? Yeah, it should be made out of chocolate. For sure.
Oh man, made out of chocolate. Oh man. On that note, let's get ready to wrap this one up so if we can get our next guest on. Brad, it was an absolute pleasure having you on here tonight. You know, as we say to all our guests, you know, really wish you nothing but the best of skill for this upcoming fight. Win, lose, or draw, you know, hopefully you and Mike get out of there injury-free. Being how his fights go, I kind of doubt it. He tends to get in wars, so somebody's going to want to with some type of nick or nagging injury one way or another.
Sure, man. I'm expecting to win, but I'm expecting to come out there with some cuts and, you know, all bloody and beat up. You know, like win or lose Chandler's fights, he's always beat up. You know, it seems like to me. So, you know, I'm expecting a war, and
he's almost becoming Diaz-esque. It's not a Michael Chandler fight unless his face is all swollen up and all cut up.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's crazy. We did this face-off. We did so many face-offs in New York, and dude, that guy has scar tissue on top of scar tissue on scar tissue, man. So I really think just a stiff jab's gonna, you know, open that guy up. And but like I said, you know, I'm ready for a 5-round bloody war, and stay tuned because that's probably what's going to happen.
All right, but as we wrap this up, what we typically do is throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot at your social media sites, websites, any charities you're working with, sponsors you want to give love to. The time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, man, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Bad Boy. Bad Boys helps me out all the time, man. They give me the best gear. They're there for me all the time. Roots Organics. Who else? Big Kahuna Bulls. The Fisherman Market. I got to thank my gyms, man. I'm training at 3 different gyms right now, and I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be as good as I am right now if it wasn't for these gyms. Performance Martial Arts in Springfield, Oregon, and Gracie, Baja, Portland, and Fabian Schirner, those guys. And I just started training at Team Oyama in Irvine, California, and Coach Oyama is the man, dude. He's just a technician, and he's the man, dude. I can't say anything more about that guy. And so thank you to all those guys and all my coaches and training partners. And catch me, look me up at Twitter and Brent Primus 155 on Instagram. And you watch me June 24th win that belt, and it's going to be a war.